Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. To start things off, Fidelity Investments' new custody service may officially launch in March. The storage component of Fidelity Digital Asset Service LLC, or FDAS, is already live with some assets under management. A person familiar with the situation told CoinDesk on Tuesday. Bloomberg reported in a story initially available only to its terminals that Fidelity was aiming for March for a formal launch. They said, "We are currently servicing a select set of eligible clients," so that means really rich people, "as we continue to build our initial solutions." The company said in a statement, "Over the next several months, we will thoroughly engage with and prioritize prospective clients based on needs, jurisdiction, and other factors," end quote. According to the Bloomberg article, Bitcoin storage is to come first, followed by Ether custody thereafter. A March launch would fit the time frame previously given by Tom Jessup, the executive in charge of FDAS, who told CoinDesk in December that it would open for business sometime in the first quarter of 2019. It is unclear when the other part of FDAS, brokering trades of crypto assets between Fidelity clients and market makers, will launch. The financial services giant revealed last fall that it was building a client crypto trading and storage platform. At the time, Jessup said that some of the institutional clients were interested in entering the cryptocurrency space, but needed a trusted platform provider first. The other interesting part was somewhere around here. FDAS is also looking at security tokens, though Jessup noted that we are waiting for the space to develop first, and I don't think they mean like other coins that are going to be considered securities by the ICO. I think there's a huge push right now because of the entire STO agenda that's actually going on, the security token agenda, that other people are trying to figure out a way to be a custody platform for when people begin to digitize things that are considered securities. On one hand, this is incredibly good. I'm very happy to hear that they are still on time for this. Fidelity, for those who may not know or maybe just have never heard of Fidelity, they are an extremely large investment platform. Like, they're incredibly huge, not only in the US, but in the entire world as well. So the fact that they even mentioned getting into cryptocurrencies and we're going to have a custody platform was something that should have set the market ablaze. Lo and behold, it did not. Market cycles, what have you, yada, yada, yada. The point is, this is still matching not even the time frame that they gave us, but the time frame that I said that I thought that everything was going to actually launch in the first place. Every single thing that we've heard from in 2018 has pushed themselves back so much. We had a lot of news that we were going to have a lot of these things either by summer of last year or even spring of last year. They all kept on pushing back over and over and over. They all planned on launching sometime around winter time. None of that ended up happening, and then now they all gave us the actual time frame for quarter one of 2019. That is January, February, March. So the first 3 months, give or take. And so far, it appears that everything is kind of lining up. Fidelity is one of the very not more important ones. The fact that Fidelity was even thinking of or is going to potentially create a cryptocurrency trading platform is incredibly insane. But the other important part, air quotes, comes down to the fact that they're trying to have like a major custody service. And this is kind of one of the things that was holding back the release or the initiation or the activation of a Bitcoin ETF. So with a big name like Fidelity, who's been in the game for quite a long amount of time, one can only assume that they would then logically be considered a valid custody platform because they're Fidelity. I don't know exactly how else to really spin that. So let's hope that this actually continues. I'm still under the impression that the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ are also going to do their things in March. Simply because February doesn't look like a real time frame unless the SEC and the CFTC decide to really actually do their job and kind of help back initiate or launch, whatever you kind of want to call it. So I'm assuming mid-March, maybe even the first 2 weeks, somewhere around there of March is when we're probably going to get all of this stuff dropping at the exact same time, which by all logic should move the market upward because we have all these things that have been spoken about for quite a long amount of time. And it's not even, you have to once again pay attention that it's not just normal people who these things are aimed at. These things they've been gauging for years, if not even if you want to narrow it down to just a year, to see exactly how much interest they would have from institutional investors. And the interest is there. So now it's time for them to simply launch their products. Let's move on. Next up, Waves is in the news, something you don't hear about very often. Waves, a Russian blockchain platform, is set to make an important partnership with Microsoft Azure. Sasha Ivanov, the head of Waves, has affirmed on social media 2 days ago that now a partnership between the company and Microsoft Azure has led Waves to offer smart assets and smart contracts on the platform. I assume this is the actual tweet. It says, Waves' smart accounts and smart assets are now available to developers on Microsoft Azure Marketplace. Launching your private Waves blockchain with non-Turing complete smart contracts and integration with Azure Cloud is now easy as pie. With these new options, the users will be able to use the Microsoft Azure platform in order to build their own smart contracts using the Waves technology. According to Ivanov, there is more to come soon, as the company will offer even more features for smart contract developers who are interested in their tech. Now, users who are already working on Microsoft Azure can start new projects using this technology, or they can use 2 templates or virtual machines that were added to the service. With these templates, they will be able to use the technology for the creation of smart contracts for both public and private blockchains. Waves is not something that you hear about very often. We maybe have news about Waves every 2-3 months. It's not even weeks. It's nice. I don't have any Waves myself. I know a lot of other people like the Waves platform, so I decided to throw it into the video because it is nice to hear. Typically, you don't hear many cryptocurrency projects partnering with anything that has the Microsoft name, even though it's Microsoft Azure, what have you. Still kind of cool. So very good for the Waves platform. And let's, I guess, move on. I'm going to breeze over this one quickly. Polish cryptocurrency exchange known as BitBay 2 days ago announced that it had introduced stellar Lumens trading for 4 different currency trading pairs against the US dollar, the euro, the Polish zlotys, and against Bitcoin. In other words, users of BitBay's platform will be able to buy or sell Lumens for any of the listed tradable currencies. More notably, there is a 0% maker fee of any cryptocurrency trading pairs. Like I said, breezing over it, I always like to talk about when I want to say major cryptocurrency, but I Lumens is up there. When they get added to other cryptocurrency platforms, it's always nice to hear because it increases the liquidity for the coin. It increases the reach of the actual coin itself, especially when other people are getting into the cryptocurrency space and they're looking for new things to invest in. They look for what other coins are out there, usually as altcoins tend to have a lower price base than the actual price of one Bitcoin. It is sometimes enticing to other people when they're looking to get into the cryptocurrency space. But good job for Stellar Lumens. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, I have some Lightning Network news. The Lightning Network on Bitcoin passed a fresh milestone this week, taking its overall capacity to over 600 BTC for the first time. Data from the monitoring source known as 1ml.com confirmed the achievement, which occurred early yesterday. The previous day proved to be particularly successful for the Bitcoin mainnet Lightning implementation, capacity growing by 21 Bitcoin in 24 hours. Now with a total capacity of 601 Bitcoin, Lightning has added 15% over the past month. Here's the actual statistics for anyone who was actually wondering. Other metrics also show improvements. The total node count now sits at 5,700, the equivalent of a 16% monthly rise, while there are now 22,750 channels, 36% more than just a month ago. The news coincides with the increased adoption of the technology. As Bitcoin has reported, an ongoing awareness campaign called Lightning Torch aims to pass a transaction around the network with each user adding to its size. Beyond community-initiated projects, bona fide user-ready apps continue to bridge the gap between Lightning's technical beginnings and mainstream understanding of its uses. And then talking about how Lightning is fast and therefore it's going to beat altcoins. What's important here is in November of last year, maybe it was even like October, maybe end of October, no one was really using the Lightning Network, no one at all. And I said I thought it was kind of weird that there was a huge spike. Like there was, I think the capacity in January, February, or March of last year was like 3 Bitcoin or something like that. So the fact that it keeps shooting up by this much around every single month, something is happening behind the scenes. I'm happy that it's finally happening. I got very tired of the Bitcoin is slow rhetoric. We know that Bitcoin is slow. We just needed kind of Lightning to really pick up. Someone mentioned in the last live stream, I think it was, if they thought that Lightning was like ready for everyday use or something like that. Not really. $2 million is kind of like the limit, if you will, the capacity of the transaction that are going back and forth through the network. So when we have at least a 10 to 15 times where we are right now, and on a daily basis or what have you, as transactions are going through, we have like a good 25 million, it'll start to move things forward. This is why I think there's been a huge push towards Lightning, especially since we had the news, what was it, a day or two ago, Blockstream, who do they, not, yeah, Blockstream, the people who pretty much control the Bitcoin code, they partnered with, was it the NASDAQ? I can't remember exactly. It's some major institution. I'm pretty sure they've been told to kind of like, hey, speed things up, because I'm still certain that when all of these things end up launching, they're going to be using Lightning as their main thing to go back and forth, because you cannot have institutions trying to get into cryptocurrencies or getting into Bitcoin, sending all these things back and forth, and it takes like 38 minutes to resolve a transaction. So I think Lightning is definitely going to be the main thing. If we keep going up like this by the end of the year, we're probably, I want to say, going to hit maybe 6,000 Bitcoin in the actual network, if not a lot more. Like if we have any type of major price jumps, or if we have, like I said before, if we have any company who announces that they're using Lightning, that's going to cause a huge flurry of people to fly to it. Anyway, it's all quite interesting, and I'm excited to see exactly where this is going to go, because I feel like the only way from this point is continuing to go up as more people get into the network. Anyway, without further ado, let's move on. I'll read through it. Winklevoss Twins Gemini Exchange has announced successfully passing a Service Organization Control Level 2 SOC2 Type 1 examination by Big Four accounting firm Deloitte, which they believe is a factor in favor of possible approval of their Bitcoin ETF petition. Gemini's stated mission is to provide its clients with a safe and secure platform to exchange and store cryptocurrencies. According to Gemini, this is paramount to our mission to build the future of money. To improve its security controls, in 2018, Gemini hired Deloitte and Touche, LLP, one of the Big Four auditors, to perform a SOC2 Type 1 examination. Here's their little advertisement. SOC2 is based on the Trust Service Criteria, which focuses on non-financial reporting controls. Specifically, SOC2 reviews the effectiveness of controls implemented for minimizing risks on security, availability, progressing integrity, confidentiality, and a privacy of a system. On the other hand, SOC1 deals with the effectiveness of financial reporting controls. Gemini states that the area emphasized by the SOC2 examinations were Gemini Exchange's application, infrastructure, and underlying customer database, and Gemini's institutional-grade storage system that stores the private keys of online and offline transactions. What this all comes down to, for those who have no idea what's going on, the Gemini twins have been trying for a very long time to get a Bitcoin ETF passed. They've been trying for 4 years. It's constantly been shut down over and over. And one of the main things that the SEC continuously came forward with and said the reason why they're not allowing a Bitcoin ETF to go through is the same exact thing that we were talking about over here. It has to do with needing a trusted custody platform, which pretty much means that it has to, we have hundreds, if not maybe, I don't want to say thousands. We may have hundreds of different custody platforms around the world, but that means nothing to the SEC or the United States. You need something that is in their jurisdiction, in their control, that's looked over by the SEC and all these other things. You need to have all these other certificates. So the point is, I think they're very boring, but I do have to applaud them for their persistence in trying to really get this passed. Whoever ends up getting the first Bitcoin ETF kind of gets the goal. You get bragging rights pretty much forever. I don't know if you guys have ever seen any other situations where like the really old guys, and they're like 89 years old, and they're like on CNBC, like they're talking about finance, like they ask them, what do you think about this situation? What do you think about this country? And they always make sure to like brag at some point, like, yeah, you were the first person who ever had this type of ETF. Do you remember, 40 years ago, you were like, it kind of sticks with you forever. So this is why I think this is part of their legacy that they're trying to leave. They're like really desperate for Bitcoin to actually make it. They have a lot riding on it. Like billions of dollars riding on the success of the entire thing. So they want to, they were also like the first celebrities, fingers in the air, as far as to actually promote Bitcoin and say that they were actually into the Bitcoin space. So I feel like they think that Bitcoin is their baby, what have you. It would be very, I don't think that they have any pending approvals from the SEC. Like, I don't think they have like anything with the SEC right now as far as like a Bitcoin ETF. I would feel so bad for them if they end up doing all of this stuff, put another application in for an ETF. It takes an entire 260 days, and then they get rejected once again. Just kind of how things are. I still believe that the people who are going to end up making it, I really feel like if the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ put in anything to try and get a Bitcoin ETF, they'd be approved probably within a couple of months. Anyway, so good job on them for doing their due diligence and making sure that crypto has rules. But yeah, let's move on. To kind of finish things off, South Korea-based fintech firm BXB Inc. has launched the first supposed stablecoin backed by the Korean won. According to a press release shared with Cointelegraph, this was 2 days ago. There was an initial beta soft launch of the coin on AirSwap, a decentralized exchange platform, before the tokens were released on the global Korean exchange. According to a Medium blog post by the co-founder of BXB Inc., Alex Friedberg, earlier this month, the coin KRWB is supposedly the first stablecoin produced in South Korea to be backed by the national currency, the won. The coin is purportedly supported with the won at a 1-to-1 ratio. BXB Inc. purportedly managed the mining and burning of KWRB in order to better assure liquidity via an Ethereum-based smart contract process using a multi-sig checkpoint and a third-party auditor. The initial deposit of $360,000 was collateralized to the equivalent value of the they need to get a new name for that, KRWB tokens. The funds were generated by BXB Inc., as well as investment firm Singapore-based BXB Capital Pte Limited. Some of these names are absolutely ridiculous. What's significant here is that we had news yesterday that apparently someone launched the first Hong Kong dollar-based stable coin, and now we have one for the South Korean won. Everyone's trying to get into the game. How many of these are actually going to exist in a couple of years? Anybody's guess. How many of these actually have to exist? That is also a question for the scholars out there. But yeah, like I said, pretty interesting news day. A lot of altcoin news and stuff happening behind the scenes. Very nice to hear that we're going to have this actually end up launching from Fidelity. Hopefully we can stick to that time frame. I think if we want to have a proper bull run, we've had a lot of analysts who keep saying that they think that the first quarter of the year is going to be a bit drabby, and then we'll kind of move up in price. I'm assuming that a lot of their data comes from the fact that we're supposed to have a lot of these things launching and activating and so and so and so. So let's hope that everything continues to go up without a hitch. As of right now, prices aren't doing too bad. Bitcoin is actually up a little tiny bit from where even it was a little while ago. Bitcoin started falling down, and we all know the rest of the story. Whenever Bitcoin falls down, everything else has to fall on down with it. No coins are doing too bad at the moment. I think, yeah, nothing's doing too detrimentally bad. I think maybe even like a bit of an upswing coming back to the market. Anyway, methinks that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I hope it's fantastic. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Arthur Yaku, L. Doug, Brady Niels, Rai, Gil, Boa Snake, and Vlad the Impaler. Thank you very much, all of you, for your generosity. I do appreciate it. And yeah, I'll talk to you all soon. See you.